Common question we get asked is, what's the difference between masking tapes? Here at Multifix we stock two types. We stock the basic, well-known buff coloured standard masking tape, and we stock a high performance blue masking tape. Buff is pretty low tack, very easy to tear, quite easy to use. The blue is a heavier duty masking tape, slightly stickier, still easy to tear but a bit tougher than your standard blue. Often used where kind of the overall finish and job, you want something a bit higher spec. The final one I've got here, just as an example, is one of the market leaders, Frog Tape, quite well known. This is their yellow, which is their delicate. They do a number of different grades depending on the application. And these guys are the market leader, and they have patented technology around their product. Not an item stocked by Multifix, but just used in this example as a comparison. So what I have here is a piece of hardboard. I've made sure the surface is clean, dust-free, and dry. No oil, no grease, because tapes won't stick well to that. And when putting down masking tape, few might sound simple, but key things is obviously make sure the surface is clean and dry, and ensure it's nice and, wherever possible, flat and smooth. Masking tapes do not work well on rough surfaces. There is other products that would work better to go on a rough surface, which we stock. One is called clean room tape. Some people might use gaffer tape, but masking tape is not really designed for rough surfaces. So I'm just going to stick a strip of each onto this hardboard. As you may notice, I'm not putting a huge amount of pressure on the masking tape. I'm just pushing it down gently, not forcing it into whatever I'm working with, because you want it to come off and release easily rather than end up tearing up and making an absolute mess. One thing that's important, which lots of people forget when using masking tape, is that it's not designed to stay there for a long time. It's designed to be applied, paint or mastic or sealant put in place, and then the tape taken away while it's still wet or semi-cured. If you are leaving tape on for long periods of time, there is specialist tapes available out there, and they're kind of depending on the product you're sticking to, the weather it's going to be exposed to. Is it going to be high UV? There's a whole range of things that can change the effect of the tape, and it could be well worth speaking to a specialist who would advise you beyond just your standard masking tapes we see here. So I've just got a little bit of emulsion. I'm just going to paint over the top of these tapes. So in normal circumstances, you'd carry on working around the room. Maybe it would sit there for half an hour, 20 minutes before you came back to pull the masking tape. So we'll just leave that to rest for a short time to recreate a more real life scenario. Then we'll pull them back and see what the difference is between each type of masking tape. These tapes have been sitting here for a bit over a quarter of an hour. As you can kind of see, probably from the camera, that the Frog tape has stayed dead flat, but the blue tape and the standard masking tape are both wrinkled up slightly as they've taken on moisture from within the paint. So we're now going to peel them back one by one and see what the difference is between each one. So we'll start off with the standard buff masking. So we've peeled that back. You've got kind of a furry edge, and with little bits of paint coming in at various points all along the edge. Worse in some places than others. We'll now take the blue tape. This is a lot stickier. Ideal when you really kind of particularly on external works where you've got more factors like wind and things at play. So we'll peel this one off. Again, it's come off nice and clean. No actual performance issues with the tape, but again, a very slight furry edge, but more improved than the cheapest. So here you've got some slightly bigger ones. Here and here, this one, it's kind of quite consistent. Bit of a fuzzy line, but overall quite consistent. We now go to the Frog tape, and we're going to peel it back. And as you can see, with the market leader, it's the market leader for a good reason. As you can see, that is a very, very crisp, sharp edge without any fuzzing or furring. So if you want the ultimate finish, Frog tape is the number one. But the others give a perfectly good result in most standard applications. It's only for super high spec or incredibly difficult jobs where something as premium as the frog tape would be required. Hopefully that's been useful and insightful as to the difference between masking tapes and how they act differently. Again, this was very simple, just using emulsion paint. Stains, wood-based finishes, solvented paint will all act slightly differently. Trust this has helped. Thank you.